Welcome, it's your boy Q, aka Young Moolah, GAB Sports. We are here to drop our freshest and hottest takes for this upcoming 2025 NFL fantasy football season. Yes, it's been a long, hot summer of drafting. Our best ball drafts are over, but we're here to go ahead and release some energy. Go ahead and get some things off our chest about our predictions of what's going to happen this upcoming season. So I just want to get all my thoughts out here, put it into cyberspace, let you all critique them, and let me be held accountable. But we're going to have some fun with it either way. So, introducing ourselves, we are GAB Sports. We are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively grateful and blessed. Guidelines to achieve and build GAB Sports. So we're going to just go ahead and jump right into this. Go ahead and follow us on social media. Join us on our YouTube channel. Check out some of the videos we've already released. And like and subscribe. Support your boy on this journey as we come into this space of content creation. Appreciate your support. Okay, so some of the thoughts that I have usually when I'm thinking of a fantasy football season of who might be some of the breakout candidates. Well, you kind of want to look at the guy's contract status. Does he have some extra motivation? A lot of dudes are motivated by that money, right? I mean, who can blame us, right? We all want to get paid. So when there's a little extra incentive tied to your performance, meaning that next contract is at stake, those are some of the dudes you might want to kind of look at. Your performance can elevate. Some guys have been asleep at the wheel maybe for like a year or two, but then they see that contract is coming up and now they want to start to get busy. Like this guy right here, right? Kyle Pitts. He's a perfect example. I think he's a guy who has been kind of in a slumber over the past few years, but maybe that contract situation, hey man, I need to get paid, is gonna wake his butt up. A quick slap of reality is a good motivating factor. But here he's looking pretty good and all off season, and I think he's gonna have a breakout campaign. He's one of my top players that I have for this upcoming season, top exposures in best ball that I do have for this upcoming season. So Kyle Pitts, there's some other guys in contract years. You got Debo in Washington on his new team. You got Brees Hall. So these are some of the guys. There's other guys. Juwan Jennings, who's betting on himself now, I hear. So there's some guys who have this kind of motivation who could be considered guys who will have big seasons just because they're playing for that next bag. So we'll see if any of these guys make my list of some of my breakout targets. But I do love Kyle Pitts, whether he's on my list or not. And we'll start off with five teams who I think are very undervalued as I was drafting this thing. I noticed that a lot of people, the masses, didn't really flock to any of these teams to try to get a lot of their players. So we're going to list these five teams who I believe will exceed their offensive expectations that we've set for them, which, to be quite frank, the bar is pretty low for many of these teams. So we're going to go ahead and list these teams in order on a countdown from five down to one. So starting off number five, we have the New England Patriots. And yes, I know Drake May, there's a lot of hoopla entering his second year, and we see that in fantasy and best ball, he was not really undervalued, but as an offense, they have a lot of players that either go undrafted or they're way down in the draft order as far as the what rounds they're going in. And I think they're undervalued for that respect. And there's a lot of reasons, but the main reasons being that, Drake May, very talented, high draft pick. They brought over Josh McDaniels to be the offensive coordinator. And we all know Josh McDaniels hasn't been a great head coach yet, but when he's just given the sole responsibility of just running an offense, he's done actually pretty well. His offenses usually finish toward the top half of the league, and I think he's going to use this opportunity to try to mold a quarterback like a Drake May, and and the Patriots are hoping that they can mold this guy into their franchise quarterback. And Josh McDaniels, if he has pretty good success here. He'll probably get another opportunity for a head coaching job. But that's one of the key reasons why I think this team will be good is Josh McDaniels is at the helm of the offense, calling the plays, designing the offense. They also have upgraded some weapons too, bringing in Stephon Diggs at the outside, drafting Kyle Williams, and then they got a young spark plug, pretty freakish guy in that backfield who showed a lot of explosiveness already, and Travion Henderson. That's all going to help this offense be one of those five that exceeds expectations, the New England Patriots. Coming in, number 4. This one might shock a lot of people. Coming in, number 4, we have the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, the Tennessee Titans, you guys, will be a team who will be one of those teams that probably gets off to a slow start, and everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, we knew they weren't going to be any good. But I think as the season goes along with the young quarterback, I think their trajectory will continue to climb each week to where, by midseason, week 10, 11 or so, they should be hitting, on some cylinders and doing some things, by that time. So they have a good offensive balanced system under Brian Callahan. And I know he took a lot of heat last year, but he was working with Will Levis. Can we cut him some slack? He's working with Will Levis as quarterback. Now he has the number 1 pick in the draft, Cam Ward, who I believe will come around at some point during the season to really be a big time playmaker and elevate those guys around him to being a pretty decent offense, better than we're expecting. So coming in number 4, we have the Tennessee Titans. Coming in number 3, I debated on whether I wanted to put this team a little higher or not because I'm super exposed to them. But they're coming in number 3, and that is the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns. The one thing that I will give them as a strength where I think people are kind of under rating is their weaponry. I mean, they have some talented guys around the perimeter of this offense. They have Judy Tillman. They brought in Isaiah Bond at the last minute, who might be an underrated dude late in seasons, who could, very talented guy out of Texas. They have a backfield that's, Judkins just got cleared of, and just signed his contract. So they've gotten some dudes. They got Sampson also, explosive young back. They got 2 tight ends. Their tight end room is maybe as good as anybody's tight end room in the league. Right there with the Baltimore Ravens, they got Fannin coming in with Njoku, already a proven quality veteran there. So if Flacco, who actually is a decent fit for this team, he already understands the Stefanski system. He was there a couple years ago, produced some big numbers in the games that he played, and had this team very competitive. And that's one thing I think that is going to help them is that their strength of schedule, especially starting off, is very strong schedule. So that's why they went with Flacco in my eyes. I think they want to get off to a start where they're not trying to break in some rookie young quarterback against this pretty tough schedule. So Flacco is going to have a lot of room to, to air it out, to make some mistakes because they know they're going to have to try to stay in these games. So I think his leash is not going to be as short as people think. And I think they're also going to be a more competitive team than people think. And even if they fall behind, okay, the negative game script, that's still a win for us fantasy jocks out here, right? Because that means more passing, more potential points, more potential yardage. So either way, whether they're competitive, highly competitive against these teams, or whether they fall behind versus these teams, I think it's a win-win if you load it up on this team, because I definitely loaded up on all their personnel this year in best ball. So I'm looking for the Cleveland Browns to surprise most of our expectations and be a pretty good offense this year. Coming in at number 2. Now this team, I really have a lot of hope in. Number 1, full disclosure, it's my favorite team. But also, I really believe in this team. It's not just because I'm a fan. It's because of the guy calling the shots. And that would be Pete Carroll But the guy I'm talking about that's calling the shots on offense is Chip Kelly, the offensive mastermind who people may not give the credit to that he deserves. But I'm here to tell you what this innovator brought to the NFL. Chip Kelly, when he first came to the NFL, there was not a team that I can remember running an RPO in the NFL. That was all a college thing, that RPO. When Chip Kelly came first burst onto the scene in the NFL, he brought the RPO with him. Out of the shotgun, the run pass option. That's a Chip Kelly innovation into the NFL. The NFL was still trying to do all this pro style offense stuff. Drop back, 5 steps. West Coast offense, 3 steps. They weren't doing this RPO kind of stuff where the quarterback has to read and then maybe run or not, or that's opening up these running lanes like this. That's Chip Kelly. Number two, unbalanced offensive line. 4 offensive linemen to one side of the field. Sometimes 7 offensive linemen lined up on your team instead of 5. They would have 7. That's a Chip Kelly innovation. The wide receiver screen. Height, throw it out to the wide receiver right away. Blockers run out there. Another Chip Kelly innovation. Look at his Oregon offenses when he was in college. Right before he came to the NFL, he was doing all that stuff, and the NFL hadn't yet adapted. So give Chip Kelly his flowers, man. And he just won a national championship for the Ohio State Buckeyes last year. He was the offensive coordinator calling shots, and they were just running over teams, scoring heck of points. So the Raiders with Chip Kelly are going to be a very explosive team this year. They're going to be throwing the ball down the field. They brought over Geno Smith to call, for the to throw all the deep passes and to call the shots and make the decisions behind center. They got Brock Bowers, the number one stunner tight end in the league. They got Dante Thornton, deep threat, might be Moss-like, going deep, and that's what Chip Kelly likes to do, throw the ball down the field. So there's a lot of positives coming here with the Raiders, bringing in Genty. So I can go on and on and on about what I think about the Raiders this year, but just know they're my number 2 team to exceed expectations this year. Yes. Coming in number 1, I'm overloaded on this team in best ball, and I know a few people out here who might have followed me, but I'm gonna tell you, if you didn't get your shares of this team, you might be regretting it now, and that is the Carolina Panthers. Because one thing that has happened over these past few weeks, they've actually consolidated a little more. They had Thielen as part of the group, and that was kind of cluttering up the group. They had Coker, who's now hurt and could be out for a extended period, so that opens up a little bit more concentration for this team. So if you got shares of these guys, you could be seeing a pretty concentrated offense here. And their second year Canales, which is going to be a good thing, right? Because, a lot of new pieces were there last year, trying to get used to this new culture, this new system. So now it's second year with Bryce Young in the system. And he's a pretty quick study, I believe, Bryce Young. He's a smart quarterback, usually quick in his reads, and they got tremendous size and speed on the outside, right? Coker will come back at some point, but they got Leggett, a physical size speed freak. They got Tetaroa McMillan, the guy they just drafted first round, 10th pick. A size speed guy, very athletic, can make big catches. And the tight end, Jatavian Sanders. They got some weaponry over here. So the Carolina Panthers coming in as my number 1 team to exceed offensive expectations this year in fantasy football. So let's count down again. 5 coming in at 5. We got New England Patriots. Coming in number 4, the Tennessee Titans. Coming in number 3, the Cleveland Browns. Coming in at 2, the Las Vegas Raiders. Coming in at number 1, the Carolina Panthers. I hope you loaded up accordingly, because you might have an edge on those teams on those players who didn't want to draft players on these teams. So you might get combinations that they don't have, and if these teams hit, you could have some low-owned combinations if you reach the later stages of best ball. Good luck to y'all, because I got my shares. All right, breakout players. We're gonna go ahead and go to that next phase of our breakout players. We got the sizzling hot breakout players. Young Muna. All right, quarterback. So there was quite a few dudes to choose from, especially out of that second year group. The second year quarterbacks who I think this is one of the best quarterback classes I've seen in a long, long, long time. I've been around this game a long time. And this is one hell of a quarterback class, these second year dudes. And so I did choose somebody from this second year. Who was it, you ask? Let's show you who I picked. I picked this guy, Michael Penix Jr. Yes, I think this Atlanta team is going to be lights out this year. Now, I don't think they're a sleeper team to exceed expectations. I think people are expecting them to be very good. That's why I didn't put them on my teams to exceed expectations, even though I think they will even exceed the lofty expectations we have for this team. And it's going to be primarily because of this guy right here. I think Penix, he throws a beautiful ball. I mean, this guy has the livest arm in the league, bar none. The ball just pops off this guy's arm when he throws the ball. I mean, it gets there in a hurry, and he has anticipation. He's got pocket awareness. I mean, I'm expecting big things from Penix this year. And look at the arsenal that he has around him. I mean, including himself, there's 4 top 10 picks on this team that he has to work with. You got himself, you got Drake London, a top 10 pick. You got Bijan, a top 10 pick. You got Kyle Pitts, top 10 pick. I mean, the weaponry is there. And then they got the young coordinator, Zach Robinson, uh, McVay protege. This team has a lot going for it. So Michael Penix coming in as my breakout quarterback, Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so I went over a lot of the positives here. If there has to be some downside, right? Yeah, well, let's cover the downside. Passing volume. Could there be a scenario where this team doesn't throw as much as we would like or hope? That's possible. Bijan could be well, he is the centerpiece of the offense, but he could have one of those Saquon Barkley type seasons. It won't be quite as low a volume of passing, even if it's a Saquon Barkley type season as the Eagles, but it could be a little lower than we would like. That's one possible downside. Also, this guy has an injury history stemming from his college days, where that will probably keep him from running as much as he probably could. This guy's a very athletic player. He's pretty fast, but he doesn't tend to utilize it as far as running, rush attempts and things like that. And that could be kind of limiting his ceiling per se. But even beyond that, I'm going to be super high on this guy as far as his outlook this year, because he's just a wonderful pocket passer. So Michael Penix coming in as my breakout quarterback 2025. Let's move over to the running back position. Let's go with this guy. I know there's a lot of people who are going to have a problem with this, but that's okay. We're going with Breece Hall anyway. Yeah, we like Breece Hall, man. I think he's an explosive dude. He's got a very versatile skill set. I mean, he's not one dimensional where, oh, if you stop me running outside, I'm done. He'll run inside, you know. He'll have some patience, grind out the tough yards, and then he'll just bust that big play. Also, he can catch the ball. Really soft hands. Really good receiver out of the backfield. So he's got a couple ways to get there. He's not just a one-dimensional guy. And he's also 2 years removed from that knee injury that he suffered. And those type of things sometimes affect each player differently. Where sometimes 2 years it takes for a guy to really get that explosive step back and back with him. And he's one of those dudes that might be a guy who needed that extra year to become himself again. So I got Breece Hall as my breakout running back for this season. Now, is there some downside? of course, and we'll go over that right now. He's got a very talented young backup breathing down his neck. That's Braylon Allen. So there could be a more of a split than we hope here, but I'm looking at it maybe, you got the coach coming from Detroit. Is he going to be thinking Demo, Gibbs type situation? So maybe it's something like that because they really want to run the ball a lot. I know that. So this could be a Demo is Braylon Allen and a Gibbs is Brees Hall. So in that scenario, Brees Hall still can break out and have a big season because he's that talented. So that's one drawback, that it could possibly be a little bit bigger share than we were hoping for him to break out. But all in all, I think he's still going to break out. The offensive line, very young but unproven, and they just got a big injury with Elijah Vera Tucker just got hurt, and that could slow down the progress of this pick. But I'm gonna stick with it. Your boy Young Mula, we come correct, man. We're not gonna shy away from our original takes and try to come to somebody else. I'm like, hey, we got Brees Hall from the beginning. We're gonna ride with that one. Why? Because I believe in it. Yes, Brees Hall coming in as our breakout running back for 2025. Receiver. This one took a lot of thought of what I really wanted to do at the receiver position. And this will be maybe, there's been a little things that help this guy's status, things that happened recently to help this guy's status. So it's a wait and see thing. A lot of people are down on him, but he's my guy. I think he's my highest owned guy in all of best ball this year. I'll show it to you when I do my exposures. And that is Xavier Legette, the Carolina Panthers, which was my number one team to exceed expectations. And this is a big reason why. I know they drafted Tetairoa McMillan first in the draft. I know they love Coker, and who's currently hurt. But this dude is a freak athlete. He's got some freak athleticism, and those kinds of dudes are the dudes who can explode without getting 140 targets, right? You give this guy 60 catches per, basically 95 targets, 60 catches, he can get 10, 50, 1100 yards off of that kind of volume because he's that explosive. The rack ability, the downfield speed, a guy like this can get that. They got an innovative offense. They got a quick reading quarterback. So as long as he gets the ball out, gets it to these playmakers, let them make plays, this is the kind of guy that can make those kind of plays. Xavier Legette. What's the downside, you say? Yeah, there's some downside. There's a lot of competition for targets. But one guy's already been shipped out, Adam Thielen. That was a big move that they made, moving out Adam Thielen. That's opening up targets for this guy. Jalen Coker just went down. Could be out up to 6 to 8 weeks. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Opening up some more opportunity for my guy. So all in all, I think this is the year where a guy like Legette can put it together. And he's also got inconsistent hands. So he's got to shore that up for sure. He's a guy that's been a little inconsistent, dropping the ball, some concentration lapses, things like that. But all in all, I think he's going to do it. I have faith in it. I put my money on it. I got this dude as my highest owned guy in best ball, Xavier Legette. Yeah, got it. So, going to the tight end position. This would be fun. Here's a guy who nobody would expect to be a breakout candidate. But I'm the kind of guy that goes there. Why? Because I believe what I see. This guy right here. Yeah, Isaiah Likely. Your Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Breakout, you say? Mark Andrews is there. You know what? This guy's better than Mark Andrews. Yeah, you heard it from me. He's better than Mark Andrews. This guy is a silky smooth, one of the most fluid athletes you'll ever see at the tight end position. He runs like a gazelle. He looks like he's not moving all that fast if you just look at how he's running. But then I start seeing him separating from guys. And then when the ball at the catch point, oh man, how's he gonna catch that? He just goes up, snares it out of the air. This guy is one of those kind of athletes that you just marvel at. And if you listen to what John Harbaugh has been saying recently, or at least right before he got hurt, he was saying, man, this guy could be an all pro. That's the kind of talent that these guys are seeing in this dude. And I've been seeing it. I was like, man, this dude is talented. And when I watch the Ravens, I watch a lot of Ravens games. It's one of my favorite teams. If I wasn't a Raider fan, I'd probably be a Ravens fan. So one of the things I always kind of notice in their big games and their big moments, they're looking for this dude. He's like their go-to guy in these big moments. Because a lot of people look at, okay, they played the Chiefs down the stretch, right? Last year. Remember what happened? The toe was out of bounds. Who were they throwing it to? This dude. 3 or 4 plays earlier when they were still in the red zones and they tried to connect in a deep pass. Who were they throwing it to? This dude. Look in the AFC divisional playoff game. Who scored the potential game tying? Well, if the other tight end didn't drop the 2-pointer, but who scored that touchdown? Do you all remember? This guy. This guy's a clutch guy that the Ravens are always looking for down the stretch to make plays, and then he delivers. So Isaiah Likely, my breakout tight end. There's some downside. Obviously, the elephant in the room, right? He's got an injury. Yeah, he's currently hurt. He got hurt in training camp, and he's probably going to miss maybe 1 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know. But coming back, we're going to look at his points per game because, yeah, his overall numbers might not overwhelm you, since he's going to miss a few games here. But I think his points per game will be very high this year when he comes back and gets up to speed. Isaiah Likely, target competition. Yeah, there's a lot of guys to feed over there, right? And not to mention you got Lamar and Big Dog running the ball. So there's a lot of competition over there to get the ball. But this guy's so talented, he's just going to break through all that. Isaiah Likely, my tight end, breakout. So there you have it. Each position. Michael Penix, quarterback. Running back, Brees Hall. Wide receiver, Xavier Legette. Tight end, Isaiah Likely. Breakout 2025. So, that being said, I'm an elite tight end truther as far as this best ball stuff goes. And I hear a lot of people saying different things about, well, the elite tight ends, they're kind of overvalued at where they're currently going. And I don't want to spend that kind of draft capital on these tight ends. I'd rather get a receiver, I'd rather get a running back, yada, yada, yada. Okay. I'm going to be on the opposite side. Why? Because I believe that these tight ends are so special, they're just going to lap the field of these other tight ends that you guys want to take later. Starting with this guy, Brock Bowers. These dudes are generational type tight ends. This guy might be the best tight end prospect of all time. That's how good this guy is. I won't be shocked if a Brock Bowers has like 115 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. If you think your tight end that you took in the 11th, 12th, 13th plus rounds is going to be able to come in within the stratosphere of these type of numbers, it ain't happening if he puts up that kind of season. So the separation that these dudes have the potential to deliver from the rest of the field, to me, is worth that early round pick. And I'm overloaded on these guys. The Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle trio of tight ends. My combined ownership is over 30%. But I think Trey McBride, I'm probably about 7%, 8%. But the other two, I'm over like 30% together of just Bowers and Kittle. I got 30% combined of those two alone. So I'm an elite tight end truther. So that's my strategy for the tight end position. And here's my hot take. The spicy hot take is Kyle Pitts, and Isaiah Likely will also finish in the top 6 of tight ends this year. So you got Kyle Pitts, Isaiah Likely, My other three is who I'm predicting to be in the top six, the three elites: Bowers, Kittle, McBride. That's five. So in my projection, that only leaves one more guy to finish in this top six. So I hope you guys drafted wisely and got that right guy, because I'm rolling with these guys. I'm an elite tight end truther, and I love Pitts, and likely we taking that to the bank. 2025 hot take. All right. Oh, let's move on to a guy who can cause a lot of emotions in people. That's this guy right here, George Pickens, the enigmatic Pickens experience. This guy will drive you nuts if you let him, right? I mean, he's one of those guys where I think he's either going to be great or he might just underwhelm, right? I mean, there's very little gray area with this guy. There's very little room in between for a guy like George Pickens. He's in the best situation, football wise, that he's ever had in his whole career. You know, we were with the Cowboys, right? Looks like they're gonna have to throw the ball quite a bit this year. I mean, the defense might take a step back, and this guy should be able to produce. He's in a contract year, so he should be able to produce, right? Should be able to thrive. But guess what? He's George Pickens, who can sometimes be an asshole, a knucklehead, a loafer. He's just enigmatic. He's one of those unpredictable guys. So I got some shares of him. I didn't want to be, kind of on the sidelines with zero shares because I know he's in such a great situation, but I'm uneasy about it and I don't feel comfortable with this guy. And here's my spicy hot take of what's going to happen this year. These guys, Rashid Shaheed and Xavier Leggett, will equal George Pickens. Not combined, all three will be on the same plane production wise in the NFL this year. So I'm getting those guys, Leggett and Rashid, much later in draft than Pickens, right? And I believe they'll produce just as well as him. So that's my spicy hot take on the enigmatic George Pickens experience. So good luck. It'll be a roller coaster ride. Hope you have fun with it. With the George Pickens experience, I'm not fully on board. I got, basically even with the field, but I'm not overloaded on George Pickens. I'm a little scared of his personality, and he just might go off the wagon. You heard it here first. George Pickens, beware, have fun. Hope it works out. Let's go. All right. The story of Malik and Drake. Malik meaning king. Drake is a rapper from Toronto, isn't he? Not those guys, okay? It's these guys right here. Yeah, this guy right here, Malik Neighbors. This guy right here, Drake London. So the story of these guys, from my perspective for this season, is that they're going to absolutely crush. They're going to kill it this year, both of these guys. I have little concern that these guys are going to demolish the scene this year. They're going to crush in fantasy football, barring injury, obviously, of course. One of the reasons why I got so much confidence in this, these guys are two of the biggest target hogs in the entire NFL. I mean, you're going to see a super high target volume associated with these guys. And it could be high 20s, low 30s target percentage that these guys are getting. Don't be surprised if that happens, right? 165, 180 targets, each of these guys. Don't be surprised when that happens. And so I think they're both going to really, really crush top three, both of them, top three, potentially. I'm already putting both in the top five. They'll both be top five fantasy football receivers, potentially both top three, one of them maybe number one. So just book it, top five, story of Malik and Drake. And here's what's going to happen. My spicy hot take. This is going to be the result of them crushing this year. Next season, in 2026 fantasy drafts, Malik Neighbors and Drake London will both leapfrog CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and yes, this might sound a little blasphemous, but this is what I'm going to go on record as saying, Justin Jefferson. These two guys will leapfrog all of those guys in the 2026 drafts and be ranked ahead of them, or at least be getting drafted ahead of those guys, those superstar stud receivers that we love this year. These two guys will be ahead of them in next year's drafts. You heard it from me, Young Moolah, fresh hot takes. Let's go. History has a way of repeating itself. It's one of those things where things go in cycles, right? Some things happen in bunches, right? They continue to keep happening. But repeating itself is what we're going to talk about here. When history repeats itself. And I've been looking at this for a long time. I know a lot of people have jumped on late, and that's fine. But I'm still going to put it out here because I believe in this. You're going to get a league winner this year. It's going to come from a guy who, has a raggedy incumbent in front of him, right? And we know things have gotten cleared up here of where I'm going to go. Because last year it was Bucky Irving, right, who had Rashad White in front of him. This year it's Ja'Cory Carski-Merritt, my boy JCM, Little Bill. So it's one of those things where it's not the hottest take as it is by me saying it now, as it could have been weeks ago. But I've had this take, been sitting on this take since then. But I'm like I said, I'm still gonna come out with it because I believe in it. And a league winner is something that is not easy to come by. For you to be a league winner is somebody who crushes. So I hope it happens sooner, where he starts to really get a lot of traction over in that Washington backfield. But it might be a progression. It might still be a progression, even with B-Rob out of the picture. It still could be a progression over the course of the season, where later in the season he becomes that league winner, a la like a Chase Brown or something did last year. But this year, we're rolling with it, maybe even from the start. Who's Chris Rodriguez? Not worried about Chris Rodriguez, are we? So this could happen sooner than expected, but by season's end, Ja'Cory Carski-Merritt, aka Bill, could be your league winner this year. Hope you got some shares. All right. Watch your step. That's a stud in every position. That's what that means. Watch your step. Stud in every position. Because the stud in every position will be the winning draft strategy in 2025 best ball contest. You heard that. The stud in every position. What does that mean? Okay. You could think, oh, I drafted Drake May in the 10th round and he's a stud quarterback. No, that's not what this means. This means you are starting your draft out. Your first 4 rounds, you're going with an elite player at every position, 1 through 4. You're getting the elite running back. You're getting the hero wide receiver. You're getting the elite quarterback. You're getting the elite tight end, because I'm a tight end truther. So, you start off a draft with, say, Derrick Henry, right? As your hero running back. End of the first round. 12th pick, 11th, 12th pick, whatever, however you want to do it. You start off with a Derrick Henry, per se. Second round, you take a Drake London. You got your hero running back, your hero wide receiver. Third round, you take Josh Allen. Got your elite quarterback. Fourth round, you take George Kittle. Got your elite tight end. That's the definition of a stud in every position. Going forward, you fill out your roster accordingly, but having that stud to balance out that position or to lead that position is going to be your winning strategy. Zero RB, not happening this year. Hero or robust RB, not happening this year. Go get you, or if you got you, because the season's already over, I hope you got you some stud in every position. The step strategy, because that's going to be the winning strategy in 2025 fantasy drafts and best ball. Peace. We're out. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Criticize, critique, give your own takes, give your personal thoughts of what you believe may happen this 2025 season. Whatever you do, enjoy, have fun. Let's go win some money. Young Moolah says, we want it. Peace. We're out.